it's Jan Denning here from the Hospitality Partnership. I seem to do that a lot lately. So hi, I hope everybody is okay and everyone is feeling a lot more positive. Now we've had the roadmap from Mr. Bojo. Yeah, some concerns in it as well, but at least there's a map there and we've got something to work to. And we too at the Hospitality Partnership have a roadmap too. And certainly that light of this very long dark tunnel is shining a lot brighter. You know, when I've been speaking to different people this week, in the last couple of days, everybody is feeling happier and definitely more positive. And it seems the phones are ringing and inquiries are coming in, weddings are being booked. Yay! So really good. And here at the Hospitality Partnership, we've been saying for a while that now is the time to plan and prepare. Have a look at your business strategy. Have you changed your business strategy to reflect the new demands, like visiting friends and family, leisure stays, people getting together for celebrations that they might have missed, and staycations? And it's really important that you adjust your strategy to make sure that you don't miss out on those opportunities. And also key to your strategy, really key, is cost savings and tight financial control. And so at this point, it leads me very nicely to introduce you to our associate partner, financial controller, Robin Williams. So I'm going to hand you now to Robin Williams to say a little bit about himself. Robin.
Thank you, Jan. Yep, I've been in hotel financial control now for 25 years. Started out in large city centre 5-star hotels in Barcelona after doing my Trust House Forte training here many years ago. Did a few openings, boutique hotels, came back to the UK and did some group financial control. And since then, I've kind of been doing troubleshooting and helping small companies and groups sort out their financial admin to make them more productive and more streamlined. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. You know, when we first started speaking, you know, we're absolutely delighted that you're an associate partner to bring all of that experience that you have within the industry, because finance isn't my strength at all. So it's really great to have your expertise as part of the team. So tell me then, Robin, what would you say are the 4 main things for hospitality businesses heading out of lockdown? What would you say the 4 key things are?
I think the first and the most important is forecasting and revenue control. It's going to be very difficult for companies to actually plan their business going forward because it's a whole new world. But I think if you break the forecasting down into key performance ideas, average spends, expected capture rates of guests, you look at your on the books figures and you start planning your pickup, it makes it a lot easier to actually build an idea of where you can be. And if you do that forecasting on a regular basis, almost sort of like a weekly basis, possibly even more at the moment with COVID, and you're constantly checking your revenue and incorporating that into your forecasting document, it makes it a lot easier to sort of plan the way. I always say the budget's like a roadmap. You look at where you want to go, you say, I'm going to use this road, but at the end of the day, we always use the GPS because you'll come across a road works, you'll come across an accident, and you need something to help you guide you around that problem and get you back en route. And that's what the forecast is there, and good revenue analysis. So once you've got good forecasting in there and you're doing it on a daily basis, it allows you to control your costs more easily. The biggie is obviously payroll control. Being able to look at the highs and lows in the weeks and guide your payroll accordingly is very important. And same with food cost control. These are the big ones that will eat into your profit if you're not controlling them properly. And once you start to control your costs and start to see it, you can then start to get a better idea of your cash flow. Mm-hmm. And that's the tricky one at the moment, isn't it? How are we going to survive having gone through a year of draining losses, as it were, being able to keep your eye on the cash flow. But knowing, having that plan constantly just will help guide that cash flow. And finally, these days, I think the most important thing is automating and organizing your finance and your admin structure. It doesn't need to be complicated to do a financial control of a hotel. If you put the right system in, I always say, to keep your accounts clean, you need SOAP. You need good systems, you need organization, you need to automate and have good processes. And with those four things within your administration process, it makes it much easier to actually get it flowing, get up-to-date figures, and have your eye on the ball constantly.
Yeah, and I guess by those good systems, and I love the fact that you're saying, you know, keep it simple. It's always been like a mantra of mine, keep it simple. I can't do complicated. It just, for me, and I think many people, it just feels overwhelming when something is more complicated than it needs to be. And plus the efficiency then is also much, much better when it's a clean, soaped, lubricated system that works to your favour. So for sure, that'll save money. So saving money then, or making your business, you know, getting the cash flow in and saving money isn't all necessarily about getting in loads and loads of sales. We want that as well, but it's about tight financial controls, isn't it? So what kind of things would you suggest to bring those costs down? Because that's what's going to be important right at the beginning, because there's still going to be some lack of confidence of booking right now. We're not suddenly just going to go back to how we used to be. We will in time for sure, and the demand will be there, but it's going to be those bottom line fixed costs. What suggestions would you have to control those and bring those down?
Well, there's lots of things you can do. I think if you're talking about fixed costs, I think a lot of independent hotels need to start looking towards not outsourcing, I hate the word outsourcing, off-site professionals. I do financial controls for hotels, independent hotels, and I've learned from experience that really the financial control element of the job is only about 30 to 40% of the time. So, hey, taking on somebody full-time to do that, what you end up doing is paying them a very high wage to do the admin work. So if you have good systems in place for your revenue control, your forecasting, you have a good food flash on a daily basis, and you have a good payroll control software or system whereby you can see how much you're spending on payroll daily, then it doesn't really take that much more. I mean, I usually get people within the hotel to do the admin work. I can even, if you keep it simple with simple spreadsheets for like logging the food invoices, but you don't need a degree to actually fill in. Yeah. You can get the reception staff to do it. And there's always a little bit of time on reception, which will help. And if you don't, if not, then if you have to take somebody on, what's better than taking on a receptionist half a day extra than taking on an admin person stuck in the back office? So there's lots of ways, if you organize yourself well within the admin structure and within systems, that you can easily control those costs and easily keep down your expenses. And I think that's key to it. And it's the same, for example, within your area, sales managers, revenue managers, HR people. If you have the right systems in place, you don't need these full-time people on your payroll. You can actually just rely on the expert input when needed, and it saves you a lot of money on that bottom line.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely, and I think now is the time that businesses, or many businesses, not all, but many businesses have to look at a new way of working. That luxury where they could pay the financial controller, a full-time salesperson, but actually maybe they don't need that. That's gone now. And so what is the solution? And the solution is, as you've just said, that you can have somebody, and I know you don't like the word outsource, and actually I want to go to your phraseology, if that's a word, of an off-site person that can still do that job, doesn't cost you any more money. It will save you money. It doesn't compromise you on quality. It doesn't compromise you on brand. It really is the way forward. And do you know what I found with the hospitality partnership as well is that a lot of people have lost their jobs because of what's gone on in the last year. And maybe they don't want to go back into that corporate world. Well, it gives them an opportunity as well, doesn't it? You know, of course, during the hospitality partnership, but, you know, we have to look at new ways of doing business. And for me, yeah, that off-site specialist is the way forward. And even, you know, I've put my hat on with, you know, being at a venue. And I thought if somebody came to me with that proposition of working for somebody that actually doesn't have an office within my hotel, my stadium, wherever, would I go for it? And yeah, absolutely. As long as that person was professional and knows what they're doing and doesn't compromise my service or my brand, then yeah, absolutely I would. And we have to work differently. What else, what other things that, so you're obviously like a real expert on different systems as well. Is that something that you can advise businesses with?
Yeah. I always, obviously I've, in my long career, I've stored a lot of different systems, from front office systems, cost control systems, payroll systems, accountancy systems. I've seen quite a gambit, and since I've been more independent, I've looked around and said, right, which are the ones I would happily work with, and I have sort of like a short list of those companies, those systems. I might have one or two different options in different areas, but I have those key ones that say, no, they work well, they combine all the aspects needed, and it often they can save money for the hotel as well, because having a system doing the most of it and automating it means that you're not spending a full-time person doing stuff, and also it gives access from all areas. If they're online cloud systems, then the managers can look at it on their mobile. They can be up to date at any time, and it incorporates the whole team into the process. So if you've got a payroll and HR control system where the HODs actually have to do their bit, as it were, it makes them more aware about the rest of the business. It makes them more aware about HR issues, about financial control issues, and that builds on the team and makes the future general managers. Because you know, the old days used to go around each department doing a bit to try and get your knowledge. These days, you need access to the whole range automatically, so that you can actually build yourself and become that next step, as it were.
And like you say, you know, with your knowledge of remote systems that you can advise on because of the experience that you've got, that remote access is, if we've learned nothing in this last year, remote access is really, really important so that you can keep your business running. And of course, there's a cost saving there. Yes, you will need paying, but can you imagine that the costs that could be incurred by a business that's starting that research for systems from a zero base, really, so they can come to you, get your advice, and then you can advise them. That's a massive cost saving in itself, and knowing that you know what you're talking about, so it could save them a load of time as well as a load of money as well. Yeah. So that's what's key to me, that remote working, which we must never ever forget. And even if we never go through this again, and hopefully we won't in our lifetime, but I think the way that we work now has changed, and there will be more remote working, you know, for sure. And in corporate, a lot of businesses have now, you know, given up the premises. I know that doesn't happen with hotels, you need the hotel, but a lot of businesses have given up the premises now. So, and there'll be that flexible working where there may have been some resistance in the past. That remote working now will sure be definitely there to stay.
Can I just say, I live with the idea that if they off-site their sales manager, their HR manager, their financial controller, that office space that they've got in the back of a hotel can suddenly become an extra meeting room or an extra bedroom, and suddenly you've got you know, you're not only saving money, but you're also generating more money. You know, you've got so there's always positives, and I find working off-site makes me concentrate much more easily on the client's business, and makes me much more flexible to be there when that client needs me. So it's you know, it's actually a benefit to everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that offsite as well, that you stay focused on that project, that client that you're working with at that time. You know, and with the greatest will in the world, when you're working on site, there are so many distractions. There's somebody coming in asking you for this, and then you have to go to a board meeting, then you have to go to a HOD meeting, then you've got somebody that's walked into reception that wants to see you. So when you work it out, it's probably, well, I did work it out once, and out of my sales job that I was doing, I was actually only selling 20% of the time, because of all the other things that were expected and distractions there. So yeah, offsite for sure is the way forward. So from this, we will close with, how do we get in touch with you? Obviously through the Hospitality Partnership, and I'll be able to put all the links on there. And also, how do they get in touch with you, Robin?
Like I say, through a Hospitality Partnership, or directly. I have a website, hotelsynergies.com, explains a bit about what I do, and that links also through to the forum that I run. I do a forum for hoteliers every 2 weeks, online, obviously, and that provides a lot of information for hoteliers and gives them a platform to talk about what's going on in the industry. So they're quite happy to sort of find me on LinkedIn, join in with those forums, and then sort of like from there, things can develop.
Okay, and I can definitely recommend the online forum that you run as well. I've met some great people through it, and I learn something every time that I attend. So yeah, if you've not been on Robin's online forum, which is every other Tuesday, isn't it? I think every other Tuesday, then do get involved in it. And it's always got a big audience, anything from really 50 people on to, I think I've seen like 90 people on at any one time. From different areas of the sector as well. So definitely worth checking that out. So we will close that now. We'll leave you with the thought of, think about offsite support, how it can save you money, how it can make you efficient, and how it can give you advice on more cost savings and more financial control moving forward. So we'll leave it for there. Thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And no doubt I will be seeing you soon, virtually, of course, for a little while longer. Okay, thank you, Robin.
Thank you.